Hello, so I'm back. Going to be replacing the rear brakes, just probably the rotors, rear disc brake rotors and rear disc brake pads, along with the brake clips, the rubber boots, and hopefully, and the rear disc brake wear indicator sensors. So I'm going to try to do this quickly. So we're working on a 2008 Mini Cooper. This is the driver's side rear. Not sure if this side is even working or what's going on, but I only Mini Cooper. I only lifted up this side because this side, the outboard part of the rotor is the pad's pretty worn or gone. I'm not sure. The inside feels okay, but this side might actually be doing its job. The other side might be not working, causing this side to overwork, or very well it could be the front brakes. However, the proportioning, directional, how they split it, if it's split directional or what, I don't know. So I didn't video me jacking it up off the ground, but it's off the ground. This wheel won't turn even though I have the park brake off. The vehicle's in neutral. But when you lift these up, just make sure you have it on the support pad, and you're not on the hill and you have your wheels choked or blocked. And no need to crank this thing up. This is pretty much the same process if you were using the factory jack to change a tire, if you were stuck on the side of the road or in the parking lot or your driveway or whatnot. And if for some reason this is broke off, because sometimes these are gone and this is all rotted out, find a good part of the frame, not the body, but the frame, not the exhaust or any tubing or lines, steel lines, but a good solid part of the frame to lift the vehicle just high enough. All right, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to take off this, but I see it's already a little scratched up here. I don't know. There's supposed to be another, usually not supposed to, but there's another spot somewhere on the inside part of the rim, the wheel, that has another notch, so that this doesn't happen as much. But I'm gonna protect it, even though it's got little scratches on it. I don't want to make it a habit. So we use this part of this bag, put it in there, so I'm not scratching it. Actually, it's a bag from the parts. I mean, I've been with some mechanics and, well, hey, you know, car comes in and might have some scratches. This car does not. This car is in really pretty good condition here, but a little scratch like this, some other mechanic or even a tire shop, just, you know, it's already scratched, who cares? So just giving a little pressure all the way around. You can't really tell by the video. Well, I tell you, I really got to get a different kind of camera, because this is really hard for me to concentrate on what I'm doing and trying to get the do what I'm doing and getting the video to video properly on what I'm actually doing. Normally, I'd put my other finger behind the other edge. I'm trying to keep the camera where it's supposed to be. So right now, I'm just prying up using my finger as leverage to get the center cap off, like that. All right, so this one, I do not see another indention where this slot by my finger would go. So this one, you can pretty much, looks like you could put it wherever you want, as long as this hump is with here. You just have to line up. Nope, I was wrong. This is the key. Little keyway right here. This piece is going to go in here. This is the only this keyway. So, yep, it's in the right spot. It's either like that or it'll have a spot on the actual wheel out here. But Minis run it here on this particular vehicle. So, all right. Wasn't sure what size studs this was. This is a stud style, not a lug nut style. Probably like 18 millimeter, 17 or 19. I'm not sure. It looks kind of small. I'll try 18. See if the 18 fits. Nah, too loose. Probably 17. All right, that seems pretty good. You know, I tried to zoom out on this, and it's so close, but I have to be close when I'm working here. Oh, there goes my compressor. That one's on tight. So is that one. Not good. All right. Of course you can't hear me. So first thing I'm going to do, so let me get my light up in here. Alright, so looks like someone already maybe tried to repair this, or the brakes were just replaced. I don't know. So let's take a look. So I gotta try to get the sensor off. Let's see what size these are. I don't know if that's 13 or 14 millimeter. I tried to prepare what I could with the tools. Alright, it looks like it might be 14 millimeter. And this looks like it might be the same, or 15. So it's not 13. It's like making multiple trips. 14, 15. 15, 14. Pretty sure this is going to be the screw style piston. So it looks like it's 14. And this is going to be 15. Nope. It's going to be a... no, it actually is. It's just that I have a I need a skinnier wrench. Well, I have a different way to do that in case I need it. Man, those two of those bolts, studs on that tire was super tight. You probably couldn't hear me. But yeah, I'm guessing it was close to 200 foot-pounds in two of those. That's not good. But alright, so I'm holding. Oh, you can't see. Alright. So what I did was I basically just held this in my finger. Because it looks like someone just put these on. Assuming they were lubed, and that's why I can hold it. So I'm not taking this all the way off. I'm just loosening it. Because I got to try to get this. I'm going to try to save this brake sensor. I'm not going to spend a lot of time with it. They normally break right off because of how they're mounted. But I did get two new ones. I forgot to get my those pliers to get that out of there. So I'm probably gonna pause this video and use my angled ones. See if I can prop this. Do this one-handed. Wow, look at that. Came off. Good. There's one I can return. I don't have to bill the customer for it. But I still have to get this off here because I got to move this caliper around enough to when I'm compressing the piston. There. Now I'm going to... I don't think that's supposed to be behind there like that, but I'm just going to move this out of the way so I'm not going to break it. Alright, now I can take this out. That was easy. Hopefully the other side's like that. I can return these parts. I'll try to keep my prices down as best I can. Probably know how I'm holding this phone between my knees. Well, actually, sometimes I don't take this all the way out because I need it to hold this caliper in place. But I got a feeling this one's gonna be. I think the issues are on this side. Like I said, I couldn't even get this to turn. It's not rear-wheel drive, and it doesn't have the electronic drive system back here, so again, these are the same top and bottom. There's no so I have to put a little pressure on this. Alright, so the park brake isn't seized. It just moved it with my hand. My trusty pry bar. Alright. Looks like that was being used as a brake pad at one time. A lot of lube on there. Alright, I don't know. I'm gonna reuse this or not. I don't know how the other side is gonna look. Alright, so I have it there. It's not hanging from this. That park brake cable don't look too good. Look at all the insulation's broke free with. So now I gotta get this off, this caliper bracket, and knock this rotor out. This is looks like a T Torx, I don't know, fit. Okay, so it was a T50, Torx 50, number 50 for this. And what I normally do with all rotors anyways is, I already did it, but I can't, it's hard to do it at full force when I'm holding the phone. But normally I'll go around and I'll smack the rotor. I mean, much harder than that. I'll usually go around 3 times with about 4 hits. So, I don't know, three sets of 4 for those who work out with heavy weight. So that would be around, and which actually freed this up to turn. So, and I did spray it with some PB Blaster. So it's been about 5 minutes. And since it freed up, what happens is when you're going to put this T50 into here, you want to make sure, well, you're not going to be able to help it, but this is going to be pretty rusty. And these are not meant for impacts. But you can take this off, put it in, and lightly hit it. But make sure you're square, flat, flush, whatever, so you don't break these off. These break easy, even the hardened ones. So now what happens is you're going to try to loosen this. You're going to make sure it's in there. Make sure you're square, pushing in there. The whole everything's going to turn. It's not going to work. So for those who don't have an impact or do stuff like this on a regular, you could stick like a screwdriver or something in here. I prefer something smaller, not something that would fill this hole, because if it fills the hole, you're more likely to, in my opinion, mess these threads up. So something like this is going to catch the outside of this rotor and the very top of this thread on the back side. So if the thread does get messed up, it's not going to mess up your bolt. It's because it's not your beginning thread. This is your, the final. You could do it like this, and then you can crack it with the wrench. Now normally it's not going to break easy. You're probably going to break this. So what I did is I hooked it to my impact wrench, which is something I always do because I have the tools. I've been doing this for a long time, so I'm going to use my tools as much as possible. So I have an adapter on here. It's a non-impact power transfer adapter. It's a regular. It's not meant for an impact wrench. This is why they say wear safety glasses and all that. Make sure, important for you to do something like this, that you're in reverse, turn your gun down, and just lightly tap your throttle. If you have most air guns have an adjustable throttle. They're not full blast as soon as you hit them. Now, when we try to do this, normally make sure it's square in there, and you have the right size Torx bit or hex bit, whichever one it may be. Normally it's Torx. You apply pressure, you push it inwards, and just lightly tap the throttle, the trigger. There. I'm going real slow. So that's it. That's how you do it with the impact. That's exactly how I did it between me letting this soak with PB Blaster. I attempted it and it worked. So I'm going to leave that in there to hold this rotor on so it won't fall off on me. I'm going to take off the caliper bracket, which is a 17 millimeter. So far your sizes are 14 millimeter for the bolt that mounts the caliper to the caliper bracket here, and then 17 for the bolts to mount this bracket to the still called the steering knuckle, even though that steering back here. All right, so do this while I didn't loosen these, but with this recent work here, I'm guessing I don't think it's me. All right, so it's the bolts in there. See them? Right there and right there. So that's where I'm going. Start on the bottom. A lot of times, if these are super tight, I will put my impact on these without even thinking about it. All right. Okay. Now, since this is in more of a cavity, it's not flush like on most brakes, I'm taking the ratchet off, and I'm just gonna go by hand as much as I can here. I'm not going to take that one all the way out. That one's going to hang. I'm going to take this bottom one all the way out. All right. This should be out. And make sure you check for washers on these bolts. This one has one. You want to make sure that you don't lose it. And if it doesn't have one, make sure you at least check the other side or look online, or because if it don't have one on there, someone replaced the bolts for whatever reason, it probably broke or whatnot. If you don't have a built-in washer, it's gonna need one. All right. I may have to put the phone or try to hold it between my knees again. Let's see. Gotta take the pressure off. Wiggle it just a little bit. All right. It's got a washer. This is the factory bolt or OEM. Same here. I gotta get one of those forehead mounted cameras. What are they called? Maybe someone could put in the comments. A respectable comment. Alright. So that. Take the rotor off. I mean, I'm obviously a lot quicker than this. Just trying to make videos on everything I do now. Because I know the value of education. Not school, education. Because school gets in the way of your education. Alright, so this doesn't feel bad. I mean, it just check things. I mean, when you're, you have part of a wheel off, it's always good to inspect stuff. Most mechanics do that because then they, for instance, like if this was bad, stabilizer end link, or they like to shorten it, the sway bar end link. They would say, "Oh wow, you need like, even though the bushing is not bad, yeah, this thing here, you're gonna need like, it's gonna be like $225 labor to replace it, and the parts like, 112, and I recommend I do both sides." All right, anyways. So now let's work on this. So the reason the rotor was tore up is because the brake pad's gone. there is no brake pad left. This is the straight backing plate. That's probably why that sensor came off so easy. I wonder if that sensor is messed up. Alright, so take these off. Like I said, looks like these are too new to have been on there this whole time. I'm guessing these brakes were replaced, or someone thought this was the fix or whatnot. I'm not sure. But yeah, it's fresh. I'm gonna lube these more. I'm gonna replace them on the other side if I can, depending on what parts I have in the box here. All right, yeah, these have been lubed, and I'm gonna replace these clips. I always replace these clips. So I'm gonna get behind this piece right here with a small screwdriver without stabbing myself, or up this part. A little leverage, a little twist, and then stick it back in here and pop them off. Don't destroy them, because if you do get in a jam where you have the wrong ones from the brakes, that can be packaged wrong, you could still clean these up and put them back on. I don't like to, but you can, and you have to watch, because they're on a lot of these, there's a right and a left, upper and lower. So you have four one way and four of another, or four of one kind and four of another kind. All right, so now what I do, which I haven't done in a lot of videos, which I don't see a lot of mechanics doing, or they're not teaching this, is I use this. Trying to do this quick. Sorry, every time I grab my phone, I end up hitting the power button and it stops recording. So this is like Scotch-Brite. They just screw right onto this pad. It's a piece of Scotch-Brite. It's got like 3 threads on it. Goes into this. So it's like it's like the best thing since Nestle Quick, strawberry style. All right, so what I do is I clean all this rust out of here so that the new clips fit in nice. But you're probably thinking, well, if the brake pads are okay with the old clips, why isn't you clean back here? Bill, because the new clips are going to be a little thicker, the formation is different, and the new brake pads are going to have excessive paint on there and some burrs. So this will save a lot of time, and plus it's what should be done. Get in here. Now my compressor is going to turn on and you're not going to be able to hear anything. Maybe I should be shooting those sparks, you know. all done. So that was that. That's normally how I do that. And I'll do the same thing to the caliper backing plate that goes on this side. So, do have the ears. These are all the same. They're all the same. Ah, it's stuck. Jeez. You have to watch too, because these are going to be different because of where the brake wear indicator sensor is. And I'm pretty sure the brake wear indicator sensor is going to go on this one, which is the outboard pad closest to the wheel. This is going to be the inside against the caliper this way. So that's what we're going to do. Set these on the rag. So what I'm going to do here. Push them in. You want to make sure that nothing's sticking out too far over here. It will scrape on the rotor. So it'll look good. I'm just gonna re-lube these. I don't know if you heard that, but you gotta make sure when you put these on, these just press in. If you clean them up like I did, they're just gonna press right in. I have seen people eliminate these and just put the brake pads in here with the ears sliding in here, but you know, hey, whatever. I'm not gonna teach that. And like I was trying to say, these were the same, right and left. They're not how could I say that? They're the same. There's no, from what I can see, there wasn't a left and a right, upper or lower. They're all the same size. So, and what I was saying too before is you look at these brake pads. This is different, and this also has a curve on it. This one don't. So in my thinking, I would be like, oh, well, this will go against the caliper. But I think the way the brake wear indicator sensor goes, it's telling me that this is gonna go on the outside. So the brake wear indicator sensor is going to go here. So these brake pads are going to go in like so. Let's see if these are tight or if I have to take some paint off the ears. These are the ears. All right. So a lot of times I'll see people force these in, hammer them, and it's like you'll start bowing these clips. You know, a month down the line, you'll start getting a bad brake squeak, and I'll start rubbing on the rotor. My brakes are bad. And most mechanics won't handle that. They'll excuse it out to something else while they fix their problem, if they even know what they did wrong. And they'll just charge over something else. Alright, so I'm going to get some lube. Oh, man. I'm tired. Let's see, where is brake lube? I need some anti-seize too. Yeah, it's a little messy in here right now. Putting stuff in the garage for winter, taking out of the shed, because I don't have a heated shed, because I like it cold. This is Caliper lube. There was already lube in here, but I have to do it. This routine is supposed to be done every time. Yeah, I mean, me doing this video, this is obviously going to take me a lot longer to do this, but... And then I just got this anti-seize. You know, of course I overpaid for it because I got it at the local store through my supplier. And what I do on these too is I like to put a little anti-seize on here so it doesn't seize. Make sense? Try to keep this stuff clean. Now, I don't have to take the brake pads all the way off because they're going to compress. So I could just, I don't want to get it on the brake pads, so let's just take it all off. Put on the outside so that when it compresses in, it will push it in. It'll ride on that. Because I don't like comebacks when it comes to my work. Because a lot of businesses, they bill out a service, they bill out almost twice in case something like this happens where they have to go back on a road call or customer's got to come back. They pretty much tie that in. I don't. I take the extra time to try to make sure that it's done right the first time so I don't have to try to schedule that in. Last thing you want to do with a customer is there's a problem. You're the last one to work on it, regardless if it's from you or not. You don't want to put that customer off. I mean, you literally have to sacrifice your scheduled customers to try to fit this in to take care of warranty work, because your name is behind, or your company name is behind your work. All right, so I'm going to pause this for a minute. I'm going to clean up that caliper. Just the same thing. I'm going to clean up this with the zip grinder, or the Scotch-Brite. Actually, no, I'm not. I'm going to compress this. Yeah, I'm just going to pause the video. Okay, I'm back. I'm doing this video in sections. So earlier in the video, when these came off, you could see this side's tore up, and that was on the outboard side, not the caliper side. This side's shiny. I mean, this side's tore up. So this pad came off this side, and the pad that still had about half its life left was on this side. And when I took off the brake wear indicator sensor, it was reached all the way over to this side. Doesn't go on that side, and that's why it came right off. It was supposed to be on this one, but this is broke. You can't. Well, that's so. It's this wire. I mean, it's just barely hanging on, and the metal clip's gone. So I'm going to replace it. The passenger side, driver's side doesn't have this wear indicator on this particular vehicle. It lets it's gone, and I searched underneath here. I couldn't find even where the the factory wiring female end would be. But this new sensor has the spring-loaded, like I guess bimetal strip. So what I did was I switched the pads so that the pad with the longer slot is next to the caliper, and the shorter slot is on the outside of the rim, unlike how it was. And then this will go on the caliper side, and it'll slide right in like that. And that's how it goes. And because it's new, it should just come right back out. Like that. See? Not all the way across on this one. I mean, you know, it's just, it happens. I mean, you know, I've had vehicles where I've taken brakes off, and it just takes one person to accidentally make a simple, small mistake, and then it's just follow leader. Every mechanic down the line, maybe even an experienced mechanic, just might not be thinking, just go at it, and just everyone replaces it the same way. And then, but there's a theory too about the direction of where the caliper and brake pads are positioned, if it's in the front or the back. If it's up here, I've seen, I don't know what vehicle it was. There was one in the front, I think it was towards the bottom. So there's engineering behind it. So right now, I'm going to replace the wear brake indicator sensor. I'm going to trace the wiring. I'm pretty sure I might not be able to video it when I do it, but it's clipped on, and I'm pretty sure it goes up in here, under the car somewhere, right up in there somewhere. So I'll try to get a video of that. Right now I'm compressing this. My other tool that I need is missing. I can't find it. So I'm using a different tool to rotate this piston back in there, and I'm probably gonna have to drain the fluid. I don't want to replace it. I don't have to, but I'm gonna have to take the bleeder off and put compressed air in here to get this dust boot back into the slot here with some oil. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I can't. It's hard. I need a videographer to hold the phone. So as soon as I get this compressed in here and I don't have any issues with it, I'll resume. Okay. So I'm going to get underneath this car, this Mini Cooper. So here's the brake wear indicator sensor. I've taken the clips off. Probably not going to be able to get this on video, but just to show you the location of the connector, where I have the jack post, the jack pad. I have the hydraulic jack on this jack pad. Right underneath this plastic is the connector, up in here. You don't want to go just yanking on this, but I already used a screwdriver to just loosen this up. You have to push this one end inwards, and then you should be able to pull it out like that. Okay, and obviously check the connections, make sure it's not green and corroded, which I have not checked yet. I'll check now since I'm on film here. Well, it's not going to focus in, but I can see it's clean. So, all right, so that's where it is. I got to take this out. Just the only clip I didn't take out. Get my light smashed in there. Again, like, I don't know if this has been changed before or not, if this was routed properly or not. So I'm going to kind of lose where it's supposed to be. I'm going to do the best I can to get this. And of course, I like how they package these, you know? It's just like, okay, just put in a nice circle with like one little twist tie or something, you know? Instead of just wrapping it and folding it. I mean, yeah, this one hand thing is it's getting old. I mean, obviously this is not what you want to see in the video, but I'm tired of stop recording and starting back up and stop recording and starting back up. And wow. Is it like a military knot? That's, you know, wires are only supposed to have so many bends in there. So many allowed bends. Jeez. I mean, obviously I had it done if I had two hands here. Won the video of me putting it in, but wow, I did. I mean, that's ridiculous. There's no point in doing that. I mean, that looks like how you would use a coat hanger around a exhaust pipe for a temporary fix. I don't know. It's my opinion. I want to see if I can show you guys. I'll get the old one out of the way. So I'll leave the one end out. Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to be able to video this. I might just delete this part. Yeah, I need two hands to get this through effectively without ruining it. So, all right, well, that's how they package it. That was wrapped around my arm. All right, I'll be back. All right, so that caliper was no good. And as you could tell in the very beginning of the video, it was no good. I mean, it, even when I compressed the park brake, there was no movement in the piston at all. This thing will not compress. It won't screw compress on its own when you screw it in. It'll come out, but it won't go back in. I mean, it's just there's very minimal play. It's just the caliper's bad. So I put the new caliper on. I didn't have time to do the video, but basically just spin the caliper on the brake hose until it's pretty much beyond snug, and then you tighten it once it's mounted. So now I'm going to put the rotor on. I'll try to do this quick. I hate editing videos, so alright, so this is the spot where the rotor hold down is. So we're going to line this up. And this customer got the nice cross-drilled and slotted rotors, which I like. Some people like them, some people don't. I like them because they look cool. I put them on my own car. You've probably seen my videos with the Grand Prix. This was a T50. So I'm going to do this as much as I can. It's getting late. I had to stop, do something. I'm trying to get this car back to the customer. I was caught up doing something else, so I couldn't work on this on Friday, which I think was October the 16th. And I needed that brake sensor. Couldn't find anyone to have it local, so today's Monday, October the 19th, I think. Yep, October 19th. I'm going to snug this in a little bit. What I'll do is I'm going to hit this with the impact. I mean, in some cars, we don't even put those back on, to be honest. And right now, I don't have too many subscribers, so I'm sure if people do watch this in the future, if we survive 2020, they'll probably say, "What's this mechanic talking about? He's no mechanic. What do you mean you can't put those on?" You don't put those back on. Yeah, nope. Some mechanics don't, and I'm one of them. But on this car, I will. This is a hefty duty one. Alright, so I'm setting my gun to lowest setting, and I'm just going to try to just... Alright. Just have to hold it on. I think really what this is for, it's not to hold this on as far as, oh, if all 4 studs break off, this is the only thing. No, the wheel's going to fall off. This doesn't have to be torqued down. I mean, the wheel's going to compress this, the wheel. That's why this is countersunk, and it's past the flatness here where the rim goes on. This is here so that these stay lined up when you go to put your studs in, your wheel studs. That's what this is for. Alright, so now I'm going to put the caliper on. Oh, my battery's low. That's why my light went out. But so after I did all that prep work, I couldn't use, not using that caliper bracket and all that good stuff. I might even put this one on the way it is. I did try to prep it, but I gotta push these bolts back through, or I'm not gonna clear this bracket. At least I'll be able to show you how to put the park brake on. Not emergency brake. People cannot call it that. It's the park brake. You can call it an e-brake. Since you put the emergency in there, that creates a whole big liability. Legalities, I mean. Yep. And this, I don't think this, maybe it is compressed all the way. Alright, yeah, so I'm just going to take this apart. Let's try not to. That's why, it's a loaded caliper, but so have to, never mind, I took this apart. I did lube it some more because they had just a drip of grease in there. Alright, I'll be back. Okay, so on the last, other part of this video, I put the new disc brake caliper on. It's semi-loaded, which is basically everything except for the brake pads, and obviously not a new brake cable or brake hose or anything like that. So I had a problem. All I did was crack the brake bleeder screw, or loosen it and not crack it. Actually, it's cracked. You can see it's still leaking. I loosened it without taking it all the way out first, like I normally do on these rebuilt disc brake calipers, and checked the threads. So I just cracked it a quarter turn, started the brake bleeding process, went to tighten it back down, and went a little bit further than, from where it initially was. And I just thought, oh, okay, well, hopefully this thing ain't cross thread, or it's probably just not seated all the way from their quality control inspection. Oh, little by little, as I loosen it and tighten it back down, loosen and tighten it back down, it goes tighter and tighter and tighter, and it was just messed up from the beginning. And so what I noticed was when I took the this brake bleeder screw out of here, that there was threads above, up here, areas where I haven't even tightened the screw, like brake bleeder screw down to the caliper. This thing had paint or whatever on there. So I don't know. So I haven't even touched the other side yet, and this was the original Cardone brand, the customer supplied. And so I went and got the same one. I use Federated, and whatever their stuff gets boxed into. So, unboxing, I kind of already took this apart. I'm like, wait, let me just do a video to explain what happened. And it can happen on this. I've had brake caliper jobs where I've literally have went through probably five brake calipers on one wheel because there was something wrong with every single one of them. And now this one, as I took it apart, I mean, yeah, looks shiny, looks new. I mean, I've had these where they look this shiny and new and the piston's missing, or you know, the park brake assembly is gone, and I have to transfer because I'm out of time. Got to transfer from the old disc brake caliper to the new one. I mean, I've had brake bleeder screws bent or missing. I've had these caliper slides jammed. I'm talking all new parts. So what I do with these new ones, before I put them on the vehicle, I do my own inspection. This is where a lot of times I find the problems before problems happen, like brake bleeder screws. So this is a 10 millimeter. This one will not fit this at all, this brake bleeder screw. So, all right. But it fits the old one, or the new replacement one. This one actually is an 11 millimeter. I like to use flare nuts on these so I don't round them, or minimizes it. So what I do, I inspect it first, make sure that the threads look okay on the outside for what I can see, and I open these up. And I make sure at this point that there's a little bit of play. You can see that in there. And obviously these are aluminum or soft metal. I think they were magnesium mix at one time. And this screw is not. The screw will rust. It's not stainless steel from what I remember. And so what I do is I look in here at the threads. I'm trying to get it on camera so you guys can see. And I make sure that these threads in here look okay. And I usually put a little bit of lube on here, like anti-seize, just to make sure that these go in good. And you never want to over tighten these. Now in my case, mine wasn't seated. I think it was spray painted in this position, like just a couple threads in there. And you see the wobbleness. So anybody could have went in here, cracked it on an angle like this, and then it passed quality control. They spray painted. So what happens? I get it as a customer that just cracked it free, tightened it back down until it felt good, and it was, believe it or not, the screw was probably sticking out about this far. Pumped the brakes. I thought I heard hissing. Came back, cracked it, bled it, tightened it back down, it went a little bit further. And it just kept repeating until it was like about right here, and it just kept spinning. Now this one goes down further. So that's what I do. And I'm going to do the whole process with this. I'm going to take this whole thing apart. Not the whole thing. I'm just going to take the caliper slides off here. Add a little more grease. I like to add a little bit of anti-seize on the very bottom. Just a little. And then I make sure they're pretty good, well packed with some grease. And then I'll put the new clips. I put the new clips in here. And transfer brake pads again. The new brake pads over. And put the emergency, or can't call emergency brakes, the park brake, e-brake or park brake in here. And it's actually pretty simple. Maybe I can quickly show how that comes off. So, yeah, I mean, it's a bad bleeder. All right, so normally take this off. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do it with one hand again. So here's your brake, park brake cable, and now we just kind of squeeze this. I'm not gonna do it with one hand here. Yeah, I don't want to mess this up. Yeah. Oh well. I'm gonna maybe I can prop it up. Figure something out here. So you guys can see. You see this? So let me just kind of squeeze it down like that. Or you pull this, obviously this clip's going to come out much easier because I had it off before. Take some tension off. I'm going to use these pliers. Just trying to see what I'm doing here. Yeah, normally I just squeeze it with my hands. But I didn't jack this car up high enough to begin with, because I thought I was gonna just be replacing the pads and the rotors, and so that's that. And normally it's not gonna come out this easy. Just a little bit of wiggle, pull it out. That's that. I'm gonna push it all the way through because replacing it. And normally it's not that simple. Alright. I'll be back. Alright, now I'm going to put the caliper on. I'll show you how I do it. Let's see if you guys can see this. I'm trying to position this. Alright, okay. Looks like you can see my hand. So what these do on your, I don't know if you can see this, the brake hose, the way it's set up, it doesn't turn here. You pretty much have to start the brake hose like this. Now there's no copper washers on these. Let's see. So I start it. Let's get that out of my way. Yeah, you want to make sure it's just, of course you're not going to be able to see, but basically I'm just going to spin this onto the brake hose carefully, making sure it goes on easy, no cross threading. I'm going to go back here so I catch a thread. And you know, you got your brackets in the way and everything else, but it's got a feel for it. You know, of all things, this is where I've had failures, is on the brake hose going into the caliper on these style. Not as much on the brake bleeder screws like I had on the first rebuilt Cardone brand. I try to stay away from, because of what happened, I tried to go to another brand, but my car part supplier, for this particular Mini Cooper, Cardone was the one, or TRW, but when they're rebuilt, they're all the same. I mean, I'm old enough to have been around when we used to rebuild these. We used to turn brake rotors and brake drums, and yep, And I got to the point where it was cheaper to buy them, new ones. So you see how it was just on? I mean, it's nice and loose. There's no cross threading, you know. All right, so you get as tight as you can, and I use a 14 millimeter flare nut. I'm gonna try to tight as I can here before I mount it, because that's when I'm gonna get the final tightening of it. So right now it's gonna look like the brake hose is twisted this way, but once it's mounted, the clockwise will straighten this brake hose out. So I'm gonna try to tighten a little bit more in this position. All right, so that's how I put that on. I'm gonna go on and I already have the rated brake pads on. I took the caliper slides out. I re-lubed them. There was nothing, literally nothing in there. So what you do is when you pack these caliper slides, don't pack them with too much grease or whatever you're using with as far as a lubricant, petroleum style. If you do, just squeeze them and get some of it out of there, because you'll have a hard time getting your caliper back over the caliper slides. Oh yeah, you know what? And what I normally do, which I want to show you, is I'll put some anti-seize. I'll put some anti-seize on the piston, a little bit on the friction surface, and on these backside. I just call these the ears. This goes on the outboard brake pad. Just put a little bit on there. I was listening to my music, and I realized that with my phone I can't play the music and record at the same time. I gotta get a radio out here. And then here's the two 13 millimeter head mounting bolts. I really should have jacked this car up higher. This is kind of hard down like this. So, and I'm just gonna snug them, which is a big mistake, because a lot of times getting in a hurry, you'll forget. You'll literally forget. I've had these cars, a lot of cars, where one of these are off because it fell off, or the caliper mounting bracket. And I already tightened those down. Now I'm gonna install the park brake cable. Then we'll come back and tighten these. So park brake cable, or e-brake, it's got to fish it back through the slot here, like that. And before I mount it here, I'm going to put the clip back on. And I didn't lose it. There's the clip. The clip it pushes on. I don't need to do anything special here, because it looks like it's seated in here pretty good. I got brake fluid all over my hands. I hate brake fluid. You can ask any mechanic. I mean, that's brake fluid number 1, antifreeze number 2, and I would say fuel number 3. That's in my likings and dislikings. I mean, yeah. And then really dirty transmission fluids really sucks. But brake fluid to me is the worst. I mean, it's the bad. It's the most harmful to the body, being absorbed through the skin. I mean, my opinion. All right. When I do the other side, I'm not going to video that side, because me doing the videos, obviously, you know, it's going to take longer. But I'm going to jack this thing way up. I gotta knock that other side out quick. Hopefully I won't need the brake caliper, but if I do, at least I have one, and hopefully that won't be defective. Make sure that this is seating. I thought it seated. Apparently it didn't. That's why the clip didn't slip on like it was supposed to. It looks like it's seated. It's something I can't just ignore if it doesn't. hey, maybe I'll do a video or a continuous video of having to change this over if this thing is not going to fit. It came off the original, and actually the replacement one that had the bad what is that? Brake bleeder screw. Sorry, I'm tired. Between work, doing this, and just other stuff. This should have been done on Monday. Alright, looks like it's seating. I don't understand what's going on here, but I'm gonna have to lay down and look up. I can't see underneath there. This light ain't gonna really help me anyways. Usually don't have to use pliers. Yeah, I can't even get in here. Make sure I'm just making sure there's nothing on the back side that I missed, or a little dirt or something that's. Oh no, it's flush. Huh. Don't know. Oh, alright. There we go. Not sure. I'm going to put this on. Park brake cable. Normally just, because there's no brake fluid in here, it's got to be, you know, you could move it by hand like that. And just get in there. Make sure it's in there tight. Make sure it's in there all the way. Alright, I'm going to tighten these up. There's 13. And then these are going to spin, but most people don't have a thin 15 millimeter or 14, whatever size they use on these. It should all be the same in my opinion, but it's not. They change. I'll just grab a little pry bar just to kind of take the flat part of this pry bar, lays in here nicely. I'm not prying on anything. And just, that way you can tighten it down. See, it's not moving. Sometimes they will slip, but like that. That's it. Same on the bottom. Or a flathead screwdriver, whatever. Because once you get it to catch, you don't have to keep this in there like I did on the top. Yeah, and this ratchet's too long for this. I don't need all that. Let's see how that one's not turning. I got it to catch already. Oh, now it's going to turn. Sometimes once you get them to catch, that's it. You don't need to hold it anymore. These don't have to be torqued down to 100 foot-pounds. And I always double check the top. Might spin a little bit. There we go. See, it's not going to tighten once it's best if this is going to keep turning. So there, see? There. Now, tighten down my bleeder screw. Not torquing it down. There. Just like that. That's enough. And I'm going to go fill it up with brake fluid and start the bleeding process, which I won't be able to put on the video right now. So I'll be back again. Alright, so I'm going to wrap this video up here shortly. But I should have did this in the beginning of like how to start a Mini Cooper. This has the touch, does keyless basically. It's got a key. I call it the spaceship. So put that in. And here we have power. Just make sure that you're in neutral. Just check it, not up and down, just left and right. And a lot of times with these particular ignition systems, you have to step on the brake to start them. But because manual shift, I've had some you have to step on the brake and the clutch. But this one you just step on the clutch, put it to the floor, and then you just push the start stop, and then take your foot off the clutch and it's running. So now to pop the hood, there's the hood right here. I'm gonna shut it off. You just start. I still have it in neutral because I'm working on it. Now if the hood pops, lift it up. It's on this side. Just follow the. Well, this one would be on the black pinstripe. Brake fluid. It's under here. You can see it's kind of wet through here. I topped everything off. I had to wipe up because I don't want to spray brake fluid. Have brake clean dripping everywhere. But you can't. It's hard to see, but we're full. But I'm gonna top it off when I do my final inspection on my work. And don't leave these caps off. Okay, I mean the brake fluid's hydroscopic. I mean it sucks water fast, and you don't want water in your brake fluid. You get a sticky pedal. So that's how you open up the hood and start the Mini Cooper. I'm gonna leave this open. All right, so now I'm gonna put the. So what I did back here, I put the brake wear indicator, low brake wear indicator sensor in there on the proper brake pad. This bleeder screw did tighten good. I always grease them afterwards on the threads because they're exposed to prevent rust, to help prevent it for the next person. Which with my customer base, I always hope it's me. If they keep the car long enough, usually I'll deem the car worth it or not. A lot of times I'd rather not make the money on the car and have the customer purchase a different vehicle than continue to put money in a car that, in my opinion, mechanically wouldn't be worth it. So I did put on, but this car, I like this car. That's not what I'm saying here. I did tighten up the brake, the hose, which I didn't do in the last video. I tightened that down when I was, spinning the brake caliper onto that brake hose. Park brake is on. It's working. I did test it already. This bled great, and now I'm gonna put the wheels on. I already tightened this one down earlier in the video. All this has been that's why they call me Overkill Bill with stuff. So I don't know if I'm gonna be able to prop this up so you can watch me put the wheels on so I can stop this video. Let's see. You guys be able to see it like that. Yeah, that's I guess good enough. I lost the wheels. Just kidding. And what you do too is what I do. I'll go through the tire, even though it wasn't low. And the vehicle, today's October 21st, 2020. It hasn't lost any air yet. There's been no pressure on it. I just do a quick check for anything that might be sticking up that could cause a potential flat tire. Might not be leaking now. Might be something stuck that I can see. I'll take it out. I'll usually just fix them. If the tire looks like it's worn already, I'll just fix it and just tell the customer later if I even tell them. But if the tire looks good like this one, there could be road hazard on it, and then I'll avoid that if I touch the tire. But I'll at least take a picture or document it in some way, shape, or form. I'll bring up the road hazard, and I'll get permission. And before you put these on to any wheel, make sure that this looks clean, especially if you had to beat this rim off to get it off the vehicle. Not with a hammer, but with a piece of wood, a block on there, and hit it. That means you got corrosion here. You want to take this same tool. I usually use this tool, and I'll just clean it up in there. This one, they probably already had issues with it because this is well greased and it came off nice. And as you can see, I already took care of that. So this is the fun part because these are studs, not bolts. Normally we have lug nuts. We have lug studs. And I'm going to try to find the spot where this was on this wheel so I can put it in the same exact position as it was. Which I think there's a circle right here. So I'm going to put it here. So this will go here. So this is how we're going to put this tire on. So that kind of follows. Let me make sure I did that right. Yeah, here it is. Right in the top corner. Okay. It's just, I'm funny like that. Just want to make sure. Alright, so I got it lined up. Just use my knee to hold it there. And again, start these by hand. And I lubed them. My own special mix. I've never had a customer tell me, oh, my wheel fell off because of me not tightening something up, ever actually. When I worked for a company, yeah, that had a wheel loosen up because I snugged it, got pulled away, and my fault, not blaming anything. I didn't go back and check my work. As a matter of fact, the other guy was taking the vehicle off the rack already and drove it down the street and said I should blame me when he took the vehicle off the rack, and I was still working on it. So I didn't sign off yet, but that's not this video. All right, so I got them all started. I'm going to do, here's a 17 millimeter. I'm going to run one end just to hold this wheel straight, flush as much as possible. All right, I'm going to set my gun at one. Then you're going to wipe it up. Got all this grease on here. Got to put the mini cap on. And like I said, there's that keyway. This keyway goes to that. So it's only going to go on this way. So as you line these humps up. Like that. And you got to get your nasty handprints off the vehicle. Alright. Thanks for watching.